Welcome to another Ruthless Ideas. This week was the first week of futuristic February, which means I invent something that is new, again, like an invention, but it includes something that isn't exactly out there right now. So it's kind of a new invention, a new overall like thing that no one's ever seen. It's not out there. Kind of crazy. You got to use your imagination a little bit. So, we'll get started with the first one. This one is the left-handed grip or left-handed handle. The main goal of it is so that you can put it on, say, like a drill. Drills are normally made for right-handed people. You wrap it around the grip, and now it perfectly molds to your left hand. And it can also go for hammers. It can go for a lot of other things. It's just the drill's the main thing that's shown or like made for righties, but lefties also use. So I shall describe it. We're going to use a little food topic today. So there's two main parts. So the bottom part is made out of rubber, but it looks like what's called a Nutter Butter. So you take the squareness of a Nutter Butter, and then on top of that, you would put a Twinkie. The Twinkie would have to be the size of the Nutter Butter, but in the product, the Twinkie part is actually memory foam. So it kind of has the same consistency as a Twinkie. Sorry if I'm making you hungry. But, so that's the main part, and that all can move. It's not like the Nutter Butter where if you try to bend it, it breaks. No, it bends and moves around the handle. And then attached to the Nutter Butter are two Whopper-shaped balls that on the opposite side, they're those same type of balls, but they're indented into the product. So you can layer this on top of each other. And then, yeah, it's pretty much the Whopper goes into the Whopper size hole of the other one, and then they stay together. And so those are positioned near the edges so that it can wrap around. And like, if you wrap it around it, a drill, those spots where they connect are going to be kind of flat-ish or the same type of angle as the other ones. So that's kind of why I did that. It's so that you can connect them all, you don't have to worry about it. And then on one of the long ends, it's pretty much a Kit Kat shaped part, except you would cut it out so it looks like a Christmas tree. So on one end, you got what it looks like a Christmas tree. And then on the other side is an indent into the Nutter Butter part that allows for you to add the new invention that has never been seen before. Which that part, again, looks like a Nutter Butter, but it's very small. It's like if you, or sorry, not a Nutter Butter, a Kit Kat. So if you took the Kit Kat and turned it on its side, you're able to slide these into the part, put them to the side, and these have little buttons on it. So what you do is once they're in there, you would put the other Christmas tree part in, like wrap it around and put the Christmas tree part in. You would press both the buttons and little kind of spikes. Spikes is kind of the word, but it's things to hold the Christmas tree part. So they like meet face to face so that you can't pull it out. And so the reason this would work is because, like, obviously more engineering. But if you know how sometimes when you have a seatbelt and you go to pull real quick and it will stop you from moving, there's actually a little pin inside the seatbelt that doesn't allow you to pull that out. And the crazy part is that pin is like a half an inch long and 0.05 inches like in diameter. Like it's an extremely small part, but the thing is it's at such an angle that when you pull, it doesn't break because it's using the whole length of the pin to stop the seatbelt from moving, which is kind of cool, and that's a cool invention. So I was trying to incorporate that into this part. So it'd go to right that angle where you pull it and it doesn't come out, but it also doesn't break. Then if you do want to get it out, there's little holes in the button that you press to shoot out the little seatbelt parts that you pull, and then the hooks that popped out go right back in, and then you can pull it apart. And so the reason why this is like new and never been before, because it shoots it at the right part, but it's also bendable. Because normally handles are circle, so it has to bend. And so these bend and shoot out and still work the same, which is kind of the new invention. I've never seen that before. If you have, please let me know. But that's kind of the whole part. So this part I really love. It's really cool because it can fit around anything. You can stack a bunch on top of each other, and it just changes the game in handles. So if you're lefty, there you go. But no comments on it. But hey, that's okay. We're going. But now the next part, which is a moldable clamp head. So I don't know if you clamp a lot of stuff down, but sometimes you have to use like a C clamp where it literally looks like a C, and then you twist. There's like a giant screw at the top, and then you twist that screw, and the screw goes down and clamps whatever's but like you want to clamp down. Or you have the little, they're kind of not like a gun type clamp, but it has a little trigger that you can press, and it slowly closes the part that you need to clamp, and then you can use that to clamp things. So there's multiple kind of different ways to clamp, but the cool thing about this is if you attach it to a C clamp and then you press a little button on the part, the whole plate that's on this moldable clamp head molds to the shape of the part, which is really cool. So if you want to clamp down, say, a tube with a C clamp, normally that's extremely hard, but with this, it molds around the tube, so all you need is the C clamp, and it can't really move anywhere. Then you press the button again, the heat dissipates, but the mold head stays where it is. It doesn't go back. So that allows you to be able to clamp multiple things down. Also, it allows you to clamp electronics, because there is a way you can do the same type of technology but with a magnetic field. But if you're trying to clamp down, say, like a phone or something like that, it won't mess up the internals, because electrical fields normally mess up internals of electronics. So this one is heat triggered, molds around it, allows you to clamp it. And then if you want it back to the original shape, you just need to have a flat spot, like a desk or something. You hit the button again, it molds to the shape, it goes flat again, you press the button, and then it's done and it stays there. So that's really cool. And there's multiple layers of this moldable clamp head that I do talk about in the video, which explains like how it would work and how it would keep its shape, but also be strong enough that you could clamp stuff down with. So if you want to hear that explanation, go check it out in the video. But I'll give you a little explanation of what it looks like. So we're going to take a giant saltine cracker that's about 5 inches by 5 inches. So it's going to look kind of like the length of your phone, but take the length of your phone and then turn it, and then that's the width of your phone, or the width of the cracker as well. So about a 5 by 5. And then what goes around the clamp head is, it's an oval shape that's about 0.5 inches up that you can pinch in and like close it in, kind of like a clamp. You could close it in and then also pull it out. So it doesn't need to be too strong because all the pressure is going down. You just need it to not slide. But with the moldable, since it molds, it doesn't slide that much. but it allows you to kind of adjust to multiple different types of clamp heads, depending on what type of clamp you want to use. And then there's a little button on it that there's a heating grid throughout the thing. So you press the button, it heats up the whole part, molds it, stop it, the heat goes away. So if you want to hear the full description of what it's made of and how it actually works, like with each of the parts, go check out the video. But no comments on that either. That's okay. It's all right. But we're going. We got more views this time. We're in the double digits this time, which is awesome. So we're making our way downtown, walking fast, strangers pass, and I'm homebound. Just kidding. But that's about it for this week. The one problem I did have, though, when creating this is knowing what to model. The biggest problem is in my head, I'm like, okay, I can model this out, I can model this out. But then when I got to the part, like for the left-handed handle, when trying to model that, it popping out and popping in, I was like, how much do I do? Because it's never been made before. So am I going to make all of the specific parts and everything that it's made out of? And so that kind of got me stuck. And then I just slowly realized that there were other ways that are created now that I could do. I decided against it and make it go really challenging. But that was one of the main problems, was just how much do I do? And it's like, I'm used to inventing things that aren't made, but inventing things that aren't even conceptualized yet and are just in my head. It's kind of crazy. So for these next couple parts, for these next weeks, I dumbed it down where you just get the base of what it looks like, and then I'll explain it all and everything like that. So that was a good learning for this week, which was nice. So, and then one awesome thing that happened was on LinkedIn. So I have my little shorts that I post, and I posted it to LinkedIn. Someone commented on one of the videos for the mold head, or the moldable clamp head, sorry. And they were like, hey, we need this product. And he works for this company. And he's like, well, we have these two things, but we also want something where it can do all the angles. Our competitors have one, but we don't have one. Can you make me something? And I was so excited. I was like, well, heck yeah, I will. So that's going to be cool and try and figure out. And he sent me all the pictures and a little email, which is awesome. So we're making waves, which is so cool. And he turns out, I was talking to my father. The people who own this company are kind of rich, and they donated a bunch of stuff to these hospitals and everything. And he's like, that would be sweet. And then I was like, my head just got going, and I was thinking of all the things I could do, and if they bought me, like the product, not me. But not saying any of that is going to happen. But it's just cool to see someone reach out, which is awesome. So that's it for the parts. But today, we're going to talk about some caffeine. I love myself a good energy drink. And I've always been interested in caffeine. Caffeine's always something that has helped me when I want to do work and stuff. And so during my college, I was in this public speaking class. And we had to pick any topic, so I picked caffeine. And I was able to learn a lot more, which is awesome. So I'm going to give you a little rundown of what caffeine is and the best ways to use it. So, first off, caffeine, it makes your adenosine receptors in your head, which are the things that make you want to sleep and make you tired. It blocks those so that you don't get tired. And now you're wondering, well, how are the best ways to use it, Austin? Well, I'll tell you. So when you wake up, between like the first hour and a half, your adenosine receptors aren't even active. So when people wake up and either drink coffee, tea, an energy drink, you're not really doing anything to those adenosine receptors, but that also makes you crash later in the day. Don't ask me how. But the best way to combat that is if you wait 60 to 90 minutes after waking up and then you drink an energy drink, then you won't crash later on. Which is really cool because crashing from caffeine sucks. And so if you can wait that little extra time, then it just makes it so much better, and then you don't have to worry about crashing and everything like that. So the longer you wait, the better result you'll have. But then the downside of waiting long is it takes about 10 hours for the caffeine to go through your system and like kind of get off of the adenosine receptors. And so if you drink it after like 12, 1 o'clock, that means you have to wait 10 hours. So if you're trying to go to bed by 8 and you drink it at 1, that's only 7 hours. So you're still going to be wired, you're still going to be up. So then you're going to bed at 12, 1 o'clock once it finally goes away. And if you have to get up early the next day, then that kind of messes everything up. So my goal is always stop drinking caffeine by 1 o'clock if I'm trying to go to bed earlier. If I'm not, I kind of push it a little bit. But that's kind of one thing you should kind of worry about. Another thing is some people are always, they're kind of, oh, I'm cool. I can drink caffeine at like 10 o'clock at night and it doesn't affect me. I can still sleep. You might be able to, but the quality of sleep you're going to have is so much worse than if you didn't have that caffeine drink. Because adenosine makes you tired. It makes you want to sleep. If those are blocked while you're trying to sleep, how good a sleep are you going to have? So you might think that's cool. You might be able to do that. Just try it a couple times and see how good of sleep you do get and how rested you feel when you wake up and what kind of energy you have. Because if you wake up groggy, it could be because you're having energy too late. So that's kind of something you should worry about. Also, there's one thing that's cool about caffeine is it has GLP-1s in it, which is something that helps with food like sedation or like satisfied. So you know how you eat, if you eat a lot of food, you feel satisfied, you feel full. That's because the GLP-1s are making you feel full in your mind and your stomach. There's actually 2 spots where they are. So when you have caffeine, it actually reacts to those GLP-1s and makes you feel full in your stomach and your mind at the same time. So that's why sometimes if you drink caffeine, you're like, man, I'm not even hungry. Well, it's because it's making you feel sated. So I'm not a biological doctorate in anything. I have no background in medical. But if you want to maybe try and lose weight, this could be a way. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. But it is kind of cool how it makes you feel full and you have a lot of energy. So how I utilize caffeine is I'll wake up, say, 6 o'clock on a Saturday. I'll wait till 7:30 and have my first energy drink. Brand doesn't matter. And then that gets me full, and then I'm not that hungry for breakfast. So then I'm just working hard and I'm grinding all the way until lunchtime. And then what I'll do is I'll normally eat lunch and then drink another energy drink then, because then it's before that 1 o'clock and then I'm getting food so I don't feel like I'm going to pass out. Because again, if you just drink energy drinks, you don't have, like, your body doesn't have fuel. It makes you feel like you're full, but you're actually not. So you have to make sure you offset that and make sure you do eat during the day. But so I'll eat lunch and then while eating lunch drink another caffeinated drink. and then that will let me go until 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, fully going, just working, doing all that kind of stuff. So you can play it out. Normally when I'm like during the week, I'll only have one, maybe at lunchtime, maybe earlier, but only one. I only do twice on Saturday because it's a full day of work that I can get done. So be cautious with how you use caffeine. Please don't go over the 400 milligram daily limit, because there are some side effects of caffeine and there can be bad things that happen from caffeine. But if you utilize it right and don't go over that limit, then it's actually a really good tool to keep you focused and keep you going without like distraction, because it really helps with the focus and keeping yourself going and focused on a task. So that's my little spiel on caffeine. Again, do your own research, but I like to make it known. I love that little science of it, and it's just really cool. So please do your own research. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. But thank you very much for listening. Go check out Ruthless Ideas. It's awesome. I love it. I would love to have some comments and maybe people telling me how I can do better or worse. Don't tell me how I can do worse. That'd be bad. But thank you very much, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.